Well, it's a new year. Are you on the road to financial fitness? Maybe you cringe when you hear that, right? Maybe you don't like talking about finances. Rebecca is here, and do you like to talk about finances, Rebecca?
Oh,
I hope so.
do I like to talk about finances? Well, it depends on what aspect of finances you're talking about.
Well, Rebecca, what is something that you do to try and keep financially fit?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, one thing I do try to do is keep a budget or stay on a budget. That means that I try not to buy things that I can't afford, things that are just too expensive. And I try to not use my credit card too often, because I know that a lot of people tend to use
trouble with that,
they use their credit card and they end up buying all these different things that they really can't afford. That is, they don't have the money for it. So I try not to do that. I try to limit how much I spend, but then at the same time, I think it's okay to enjoy life too.
So don't spend more than you have.
Yeah.
It's okay to splurge from time to time.
Absolutely.
There's
Hey,
different,
well, I was just going to say, sometimes I like to buy ice cream, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right. There's different ways to do a budget, right? And some
Yeah.
people have a very strict budget, and maybe you need to do that during certain seasons of your life. It kind of depends on what's going on in your life, right? But nonetheless, it's important to keep track of your money some way or the other. And so, Rebecca, which of the financial fitness tips given on day 2 of our article do you kind of find to be useful?
No doubt. Tip number 1, priorities. Setting priorities, knowing what your priorities are. I feel like this is really important, especially when it comes to finances, because if your priority is to go on a trip, then don't spend money buying a new car.
Yeah.
If your priority is to buy a new car or to buy a new house, then perhaps you shouldn't be spending money on that expensive trip to Europe.
Yeah.
And even believe it or not, coffee adds up too.
It does.
If you go to Starbucks every day or another coffee shop, you're going to end up spending a lot of money on your drink.
Brew it at home.
Right, brew it at home. It just depends on what are your priorities. So I felt that was actually really helpful.
Very good point. Well, it is the new year. Do you have any resolutions or goals with regards to finances?
With regards to finances?
Or any other goals?
Well, since I live here in Taipei, one of my goals, New Year's resolutions for the past several years has been I need to improve my Chinese.
Ooh.
I feel like that has been something I'm definitely working on and thinking.
I've seen that as well. Yeah, I've noticed you're improving in your Chinese.
It's been one of my goals.
Yes, and so that's a goal that you have. You're doubling down on that as we start a new year. And maybe some of you are thinking about your goals. What are they? Write them down and even reflect back on the year and see what didn't quite go so well and how can I make some changes in that. And that can be part of your goal setting as well. Well, thank you, Rebecca, for joining us this month for Insights.
No problem.
And thank all of you for joining us again, and stay tuned for the next Insight.